Are you ready to boost your confidence when selling so you're able to close more deals? Nikki Roush will show you how to build a foundation of skills and a mindset that creates sales success without feeling pushy or salesy and without fear of rejection. She is a sales strategist and coach with more than 25 years of sales experience and is master certified in neuro-linguistic programming. This is a radically different approach to selling. It's a no sleaze, no slime, and no stress approach to building your business. This is Sales Maven. Here's Nikki. Welcome, and thank you for listening to the Sales Maven Show. I'm your host, Nikki Roush, your own personal sales maven, here to offer you tips, techniques, and strategies to master that sales conversation. Today's episode is one of my favorites. It's an on-air coaching session with our fellow society member, Kim Carlisle. Kim, welcome to the show.
Hi, thank you so much for having me. I'm really excited for this.
I'm so excited you said yes to this. So tell the audience a little bit about you and about your business.
Yes. So as Nikki said, my name's Kim Carlisle, and I own A+ Assistants, which is a virtual assistant company. I started just recently. I've 16 years in corporate America and just decided to branch out on my own last year. So I guess not that recently, but still.
Time goes fast.
Yes, exactly. It's been an exciting adventure so far, and I'm just excited to continue and see where I am in 5 years and just how I can grow my business and help other people grow theirs.
Awesome. Virtual assistant was a game changer for me in my business. My very first one, I was like, oh my gosh, it's amazing when you get some of these things off your plate and more than anything, like out of your mental, like taking up space and that mental energy. Oh, so grateful for people
100%. Like you. Well, thank you. And it's interesting because I know a lot of what I do is what most people dread doing. And vice versa, what other people do, I'm like, ooh, I don't think I could ever do that. But so it's just very nice to be able to, like you said, take things out of their mental load. So you're not just constantly, I need to get that done. I need to get that done. So don't worry about it. I'll get it done for you. And you can think of something else to fill the space with, I suppose.
Yeah. I often recommend to my clients, like, hire somebody to assist you to get all these things off your plate so you can focus on the things that bring revenue into your business. So I just think that supporting role that you play for your clients is so crucial to their success. So again, love what you do.
Thank you so much.
All right. Well, tell me, how can I support you today? What would be useful for us to talk about?
So, with sales, that I openly admit is my weak point. And I think my biggest thing is really closing the sale and not giving people a way out is kind of how I think of it. Okay. Just because of all the sales experience I've had in my past, I think I try to stray so far away from what I don't like that I get to the point where I will literally say to people, if you don't want to, that's fine. If you can't afford it, if you can't invest right now, don't worry about it. I'm like, why am I saying that to people? I'm literally saying, I want you to hire me, but don't worry about it if you can't or don't want to right now.
I'm so glad you brought this up. I think this will be useful for you and also for the listeners that maybe fall into the same category. I find oftentimes when this comes up, it's usually because we are trying so hard to build that rapport and keep the rapport and make sure the person knows, like, hey, whatever you decide, like, we're going to be okay. And it's okay to say no to me. Like, I truly believe that it's okay to make it easy for people to say no to you. And I do want to say that giving the out, it doesn't serve you and or the client in this particular case because you're selling to adults. They'll be able to make their own wise decision as to moving to that next step with you. And what you are unintentionally doing when you do this, it's called selling past the close. I may have talked about this.
For it.
Yeah. I may have talked about this on an episode before. I think I did. It was one of the lessons that I learned. I have an episode it's probably aired actually by the time this comes out, where I talk about some of my biggest sales fails. And in there, I talk about a story from my sales mentor of 20 some years. His name was Russ Short. And Russ taught me this lesson about selling past the close. Like when you get to the place where you've issued that close language, you've issued that invitation for somebody to take the next step, you really have to like be quiet and wait. I always say zip it and wait. If you keep talking, you kind of muddy the waters. It's kind of like handing somebody a really beautiful glass of, their perfect temperature water served in the perfect glass, and they're quite parched. They're really thirsty. They can't wait to take that first sip. And just before they go to like put it up to their lips, you flick a little bit of dirt into that water. And now all of a sudden they're like, oh, that doesn't seem very appetizing.
Right.
So we want to be really careful about selling past the close, because it kind of sends the message to somebody like, oh, you better be sure. Like, I'm not even sure. I'm not totally sure you want to hire me. So be careful. So I would just say in these moments, it's learning to catch yourself and be willing to wait and let the client say whatever they're going to say. Like, let them say, oh, I'd like to, but I can't afford it. Or let them say like, I'm not sure if I'm ready for you yet. Then we know what the objection is. Then we can do something next, but we have to let them say it. We can't say it for them.
Right.
Okay.
So true.
This is also a little bit of, I call this like that internal dialogue that becomes external dialogue, right? Like we have critics in our heads, or we have voices in our heads going like, oh, but maybe they don't want to hire me yet, or, oh, maybe I came on too strong. And then when we have those thought process and those thoughts going through our mind, sometimes it becomes things that come out of our mouth.
Right.
Does this resonate with you at all?
Yeah, that makes total sense. And you're
So learning to just issue the invitation, issue the close. So you get to the end of a conversation with somebody and you say, is this something you'd like to move forward with? And then you wait. Like you don't say anything else.
I know, right? Okay,
and you just let them have their response to it. Now, if the response is like, yeah, it's not for me, no thanks. Okay, there's some things that we can do there. Or if they go, I'd really like to, Kim, but I just feel like I'm not quite ready for you. We can test those waters and see, could we overcome this objection? Like, you don't have to just take it as like, okay, let's get off the phone as fast as possible, or let's end the Zoom session,
right?
And never talk again. Like, we still want to check and see if there's some way that we could earn that business. But the most important thing is that we do, especially in the close, we need to send the message of like, hey, I would love to work with you. I know I can help you, and I'm ready to get started when you are.
Okay.
And it needs to be that strong of a message. So it doesn't have to be aggressive. It doesn't have to be like, look, if you don't hire me, your whole life's going to fall apart. Yet on the flip side, if we don't send the message of like, I know I can help you, you are an ideal client, let's work together. Sometimes what happens is then people go like, oh, she's not sure, so I'm not sure, so I'm going to wait. As a matter of fact, I'm talking a lot here, but I was thinking about a conversation that I had with somebody recently, which is somebody who I referred to somebody who I know, like, and trust, who I think would really help this person. So I referred them, introduced them. They got on a call, and the person who was in the position of the sale, like selling, kind of did a little bit what you were doing. Like, if you need some time to think about it, go ahead and do that. And then, let me know what you decide. So when I get back on the phone with my friend who I had sent to this other person, she's like, she could have earned my business, but she just made me feel like she really wanted that bad.
Okay.
And that's the stuff that we don't want people walking away thinking.
Right. 100%. And it's like, for me, I am very confident in what I do, and I would never sell a service that I wasn't confident in. So you're right. I'm doing myself an injustice where I'll get to the point at the end of the call and then I feel so awkward, I think. And then it shows, and you're right. They're probably thinking, well, shoot, if she's not, if she's not confident, why should I be?
Yeah.
So that makes complete sense.
I had another client I worked with years ago. She was one of my VIP clients, and she is a rock star in her business too. Like you couldn't meet somebody who absolutely knows her expertise. Like she knows she's an expert. She's really confident when it comes to what it is that she does. And I remember that she lost this deal and she wanted to talk through it with me. Actually, she hired me after she lost the deal. I think that might have been the catalyst.
She knew it was time
to come. And she said, I'm so surprised. I've had a lot of success in my industry, and I got some feedback from a potential client. And the feedback from this client is he said to her, I didn't get a sense that you were really that excited about working with me.
Oh,
yeah. Right. Isn't that like, and she was cringing because she was like, Nikki, I really was excited.
Right.
But I think I was trying to play it cool. And I was like, okay, there are times to play it cool. And there are times to really send the message, look, I would love to earn your business. You are an ideal client for me. Here's how I would suggest that we get started. Is that something you're interested in?
Okay. Yeah, so would it make sense for me to just write something down as a closer and practice it, or should it be, and then obviously change it as needed for different clients? But it could be just I'm not used to doing it, so maybe I need to write something down and practice it. Which, I don't know.
Yeah. Well, I'm a big fan of muscle memory, and it does take practice. Sales doesn't come naturally to most of us. We have to practice our craft and practice getting good at something that maybe is a little uncomfortable. So I like this idea for you that if you could write down some close language, and then I also want you to have, wherever you write this down, I want you to have zip it. Right? Or something like, be quiet, Kim, wait. And let the person have their response without you giving the out.
Right. Okay.
Okay. So it could be something as simple as saying, is this something you'd like to move forward with? And then the be quiet. And then you just wait.
It's interesting you say that too, because I know I used to teach interviewing strategies, and that was one of the things I would say. Like, don't ever, if they're just staring at you, that's a tactic people use, and you need to know when to shut it. So I need to know when to shut it.
Well, the nice thing is that you already know how to do this because you were successful and you were teaching this from an interview standpoint. It's the exact same concept. It's the same strategy. And the idea is when you issue that close language, that you're giving people an opportunity, the client in this case, or the prospect, the opportunity to make a decision. Do I want to hire Kim or not? And either way, the answer is fine, but we need to get the answer. We don't want the answer to be like, hey, let's postpone you making a decision because I feel a little uncomfortable in the selling process.
Right. 100%. No, that's it too.
Hey, it's Nikki, just popping in really quick to invite you to the next masterclass. The topic is conversion email sequences, how to write them. Have you ever struggled to get your email sequences written? And do you second guess yourself when you're writing your emails? Or maybe you've held yourself back from making offers in email because you're worried that your subscribers are going to be turned off and unsubscribe. Well, then this masterclass is for you. The idea is that when you leave the masterclass, when we wrap it up, you'll have 3 core email sequences to implement into your business that's going to help you when people are first adding themselves to your list, when you are going to make offers, and when you're putting out some free content in the market, and then how to move people into that next step, that next sale with you. So that's what we're going to focus on By the end of the 3 weeks in this masterclass, you will have an opportunity to get all 3 of your email sequences written. And I'm not talking about 3 emails. I'm talking about 3 separate sequences. So come join. I've added an extra bonus this time on the masterclass, which is some office hours. So at the end of each class, I am going to stay and do office hours for people who want some feedback on their language, or if you get stuck, not sure how to phrase something, I'm going to be there to support you with that. We'd love to have you join. Tickets are already starting to sell. I expect this class to sell out, as all of my master classes have this year. So come join us, check it out. You can find more information at yoursalesmaven.com/masterclass. One word, masterclass. And we'd love to have you with us. Take care. Yeah. So going forward, no more giving outs. Your clients will get themselves out of it if they want to.
Right.
And you just give yourself that permission to be a little uncomfortable with the silence. You'll get more comfortable with it the more you practice. And then you just wait and see what they say next. And what I think you're going to find, I hope you'll report back to us, is that you start closing more deals, because people want to hire experts. People want to work with people who are confident about what they do and how they can serve them. And as somebody who, think about too, your clientele, these are people who are already feeling, chances are, a little like pushed past their limits.
Right.
They may even have some decision fatigue because they're doing everything themselves. Right.
Right.
So they need somebody to step in as the expert and say, let's move forward. This is my suggestion. Here's how we could get started. Does that sound good to you?
Okay, I like that.
And they'll love you for it. I used to always say one of the best lessons I learned when I was working at one of the highest profile jobs, sales jobs that I had, is learning how to manage my manager. And it took a few years for me to really kind of understand him and how to do this. And I don't mean this in any way being disrespectful. He was incredibly proficient and he was a great boss. I really like and respect him. But learning how to manage him was such an important way for me to help kind of make everything run more smoothly. And for you stepping in as a virtual assistant, in a way, you've got to learn how to manage your clients. So establishing that right from the get-go. Like I want I have an online business manager and I have a personal assistant. I want both of them to manage me on the things that they know are their expertise and that they need to do. And if all they do is come and ask me questions and want me to do all the step-by-step, then I start to feel overwhelmed again. And their job is to take that overwhelm off my plate. So I want them to manage me. I'll tell you, my online business manager, she is so good at this. She's usually 3 steps ahead of me. I'll be like, hey, have we thought about doing, this, and this? And she'll be like, oh, Nikki, I did that 2 days ago.
Right.
So we want that. We want to send that message at the get-go with your clients so they get a sense oh, Kim is going to be the person for me because she just made this process so easy to make this decision.
Yeah. And that really resonates with me because that I think is where I was feeling the worst. I'm like, this is my job, is to make their life easier. And if I can't do that at the end of the call and lead them to it, then I feel like that reflects poorly on me and isn't how I work with people.
Right.
So yeah, that's very interesting that you said that. Now I just had a duh moment. I'm like, wow.
Well, keep in mind, we all have blind spots. Me too. My coach constantly blows my mind, right? That hey, Nikki, did you realize you have a blind spot around this? Right. So having these awarenesses are so great. So I'm so glad that you came on to ask this and to talk about it, because chances are there's somebody who's listening that's like, oh, I might be doing that too.
Right.
And maybe if I stop doing that, I'll start earning the business of the people that I want to work with, and it'll make it an easier process for them. And more importantly, you're going to make this an easier process for people to say yes to you. And, I know because we're in the society together. So I know your clients love you because some of them are in the Sales Maven Society and people rave about you.
Yes. That's so great to hear. And I just love all of my clients and the ones in the society too. It's such an honor for me. Sometimes when I look at who my clients are, I'm like, how did I get so lucky to have these amazing, powerful women who are just experts in their field and I really look up to? I'm like about to cry. But yeah, so it really is an honor. And this society has helped me a lot. And like you said, I have some clients in it. So it's just been wonderful.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, okay. So speaking of that, we're going to wrap this up. And I always like to ask the question at the end. So as a member of the Sales Maven Society, what has been one of the benefits for you?
So I think the main benefit for me is seeing what other people ask, because a lot of times it's something that I might have wanted to ask, but either just didn't have time for, or maybe I was uncomfortable. And so seeing other people pose a question and then get the response, it's just such a learning experience for me, even if I didn't directly ask. So just reading through people's posts and seeing what they're putting out there and how they're phrasing things and the suggestions that you're giving them and that other members are giving them has just been invaluable.
Awesome. Well, you're a great contributor in there too. So thank you so much for being in there, for saying yes to, doing an on-air coaching call. It's been such a pleasure. Like you said, like I'm so honored for the people that work with me, and I feel that way about you. I remember from the very first session that we did, we did your elevator pitch. Is that right?
Yes.
It was a while ago now, and I just remember and it was a mini session and we did it so quickly and you were so like, oh my gosh, and then I don't know if you had joined the society or it was like right after we did your session.
I think it was right after I did the session that I joined because I think I was trying it out for a month and I hadn't decided if I was going to join full term or continue with it. And then just within, I want to say it was like a week or two, I was like, this is the best Facebook group and I'm getting the most value out of it. So it was shortly after that, just after that mini 15 minutes.
I feel like you signed up, you became a lifetime member, right?
Yes.
Okay. That's okay. So you were in your first month in like a trial.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Right.
Correct.
And then we did your 15-minute strategy session where we worked on your elevator pitch. And then it was like the next week you signed up as a lifetime member.
Yep.
And I was like, oh my gosh, because I loved my time with you. And then having you turn into a lifetime member, I was really, in you in particular, I felt like incredibly honored because I felt like I was still new to you and you like took this big chance and you just have been such a great member in there.
Oh,
so
thank you so much. And I tell people all the time too, like I'm the person who's always hesitant in doing anything like long-term that I haven't tried out. And somehow saying yes to you in this society, it was so easy. So, you just made it easy and you're the expert in it. So I knew I was in good hands.
Well, I'm glad. And sales should be easy. It should be easy for you and it should be easy for the client. And that's what you just said. That's a great representation of what I am always striving to teach. So love it. Thank you so much. Yes. Now, to wrap up the interview, tell the listeners how they can connect with you and find out more about you. There might be somebody listening who needs to hire a virtual assistant immediately, and Kim's your gal.
Right. Yes. So I'm with A+ Assistance and the website is apassistance.com. And then I have an email community you can join. And when you sign up for it, you'll get a week free social media strategy that just kind of gives you best days to post for certain social media outlets and a little prompt ideas. And then I give 3 visuals as well. So 3 pictures you can use for your social media posts.
Absolutely. Okay. Give the website one more time.
apassistance.com.
Awesome. That will also be in the show notes too. So if you want to go check Kim out and connect with her, please do that. Like I said, she has some raving fans in the Sales Maven Society, people who have hired her. So
I'm blushing. You can't see it.
So go check her out. Kim, thank you so much for being here today. I really appreciate you.
Yes, thank you so much. I'm honored to be here. And when I opened that email saying that I was going to be on, my dog's like, oh my gosh, she's just so excited.
All right. Thank you. And thanks for listening, everybody. If you haven't already written a review or shared the podcast with a friend, please do that. I so appreciate you taking the time to let people know about the podcast. And it has been really fun to get to hear from listeners, people who are reaching out to me from all over, people who are talking about how they've implemented something from the show. So thank you, listeners, for that. I'm just so grateful, and have a great rest of your day.
Thanks for listening to Sales Maven. Visit us online at yoursalesmaven.com/maven for more resources to boost your confidence and skills.